Hey guys, I trust that the Lord has kept you well. It's such a joy to be with you again today in our leadership conversation that we call Shape right here on our channel. And before we dive into what we want to talk about today, if you haven't, go right ahead and like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Your subscription and the fact that you like this video not only means a lot to us, it means that the message that we share together will go so much further and be a blessing to so many people as well. And then whether it is right now or at the end of this session, go ahead and share the link on your platform so that someone else can benefit from what we are learning together. It's such a joy to have you all. I know my surroundings are a bit different today. I'm out here in a hotel room, but I thought I'd just spare a moment and record something today so that we're able to continue our conversation. Now remember, Shape is a leadership conversation that helps you discover how God has built you to serve. God has a unique purpose for your life, and He has built you and shaped you uniquely to be able to fulfill His purpose and plan for your life. And so on Shape, we want to talk about things concerning leadership and ways that you can continue to reach your highest potential so that you can serve God through the way He has gifted you and shaped you. And today I want to talk to you about vision and why vision is so important for you as a leader right now, or someone that's growing into leadership, or someone that desires to get into leadership. Vision is so important. Vision is important whether you lead a business, an organization, whether you're just starting something, you're just at the grassroots level of something, whether you're dreaming something. Vision is so critical. The thing is, what is vision? And I love this definition about vision. Pastor Julius Rotlonyo, team leader at Watoto Church Ministries, our team leader, always says this, and I absolutely love it. He always says that vision is God's picture of His preferred future for you that produces passion in you. I love that. Actually love that thought, that it is God's picture for you. In other words, God who created you, who has a plan for you, allows you to download in bits and pieces His grand picture for your life. And between where you are now and where He wants you to be, that gap exists, and He gives you a vision so that you're able to begin mapping out the course between where you are now and where you need to be. I absolutely love that. And the other thought I love about that definition is this: is it produces passion. It energizes you. It gives you a kick every morning when you get up and you think about it. Every time you hit an obstacle and you're reminded about this grand picture, it produces passion. There is energy. Your juices are flowing. You get excited. There is ideas. You carry a conviction about what you need to do and where you need to go. And that's why I love that definition of vision, that it's God's preferred picture for your life that produces passion in you. Absolutely love that. And that's what vision in essence is. It is a picture. And it's not the full picture, but it is a picture of the preferred future that now helps you navigate how you need to get there. And those are the next practical steps that you begin to take, because you are somewhere now, but there is somewhere God wants you to be. There is a picture that you see, that is allowed you to see, that is allowed you to dream, that is allowed you to construct, that is allowed you to download, and you're able to now get that picture and begin sort of building a bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. This is so critical. The Bible tells us very clearly that without vision, people perish. Without vision, people cast off restraint. And this is so important. And we're talking about vision, and why vision is so powerful is because when people do not have a vision, there will be abuse. There will be the death of great things, great organizations, great marriages, great careers, great ideas die when there is no vision. Because we have to come to the place in our lives where we are living beyond our own noses. We have to have a long-term a picture of life, so that what we're doing today aligns, it makes meaning. And so it is so critical that there is vision. People cast off restraint. In other words, people just begin to live anyhow. People are careless. People are loose with their lives. People are loose with the ideas they have. People are loose with their marriages, with their resources, when there is no vision. And for you, is trying to be a leader, if you're trying to take people somewhere, you will end up losing out on even what you have now, because you don't have that long-term picture of what you want to accomplish. And therefore, it becomes critical for you and your team, for what you're trying to establish, what you're trying to build, where you're trying to go as an individual, that you lead with vision, that you lead with a preferred picture that comes from God, so that you're able to begin navigating. Now, we talk about vision being that long-term picture. Why is vision so important? A couple of things we've said. Number one, vision is so important because it brings clarity. What does the future look like? Do you have a picture? Do you have vision? Because when you have vision, you have clarity. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to do. You know the big picture of your life. You know the big picture of where you're trying to take the business, the organization, where you're trying to lead your team, whether you're at the top of an organization, whether you're leading a small team, whether you're leading your family. Vision becomes important because it brings clarity. Where are we going? And as a leader, you need vision because you need to be clear where you're taking people. Now, vision not only brings clarity, vision brings unity. Vision brings unity. It brings people around one central idea, one big idea. Are you leading in such a way that your team is falling apart at the seams? Could you ask yourself this great question: do we have vision? Are people clear on where we are going? Because if people are not clear on where they're going, then they won't give their all. They won't make their best contribution. People won't be excited. People won't be pulling in the same direction. In other words, you lose out on people's very best if you don't have vision. And the thing is this, there has to be one vision that comes from the leadership, that comes from the leader, that comes from the dreamer, the author. That's where vision must be, and then it gets shared. Because if there is no one vision, then maybe there'll be two visions, which leads to division. And so you can't go in the direction you want to go. You can't win in the way you want to win if there is more than one vision. There's got to be one vision that brings everyone together, that we're all clear about, so we can begin to go where we need to go. If you're not going where you need to go, if you seem to have stagnated, if you seem to have failed, if the people you're leading are not going with you, ask yourself, is their vision, number one, and is it clear? Because when there's vision that is clear, it brings unity. People are able to now go with you. Otherwise, without vision, you're simply taking a walk in the park, and people are not going to follow you without vision. And so vision brings clarity, vision brings unity. It is so important that you have vision. Now, there are some other things about vision that I want us to talk about. A couple, for example, and this is for anybody, whether you're just starting out in leadership, whether you've led for a while, whether you are flying, you could be at a point of success and you're trying to maintain success and keep going to the next level. Vision becomes that critical component. On the other side of vision is this: where there is no vision, you're going to get frustration. People will get frustrated with your leadership. People get disoriented with your leadership. But if you want people to be energized, if you want people to be united, and for there to be blessing and oneness, you've got to make sure there is vision. Now, the thing is, how do we get vision? Now, out there's so many discussions on how you get vision. There's so many people put forward so many theories, and there's tools, and many of them are very important because they help you clarify what is in your mind and in your heart. They help you download it. But in essence, number one, vision is going to come from God. You and I were believers. we know that ultimately we didn't just appear, and we're not marking space and time. God has a purpose and plan for our lives, and therefore it becomes important that we return to our Maker who has built us and shaped us to do something specific on this earth, and to ask Him, God, what is it you have for me? And so in the place of prayer, returning on to God on your knees. The Bible often talks about the kings, and it says that they inquired of the Lord. This is so important, because only God, who knows the end from the beginning, is then well able to guide you. He's able to drop something in your heart and in your mind that then allows you to know which direction you ought to go. He's able to lead and guide, and He leads and guides with vision. And so, do you want to have vision for your life, for your marriage, for your family, for the team that you're leading? Vision becomes so important for you as a leader, and it comes when you go back to God on your knees and you say, Lord, give me a picture. I think about Pharaoh. He had a dream, and they, in the end, cut the story short, they reach out to Joseph, and Joseph goes before God, and God allows him to understand what Pharaoh's dream is about. And in essence, what God gave Jacob was a vision for the next 14 years. And He said there's going to be 7 years of plenty, so save up some, because when the 7 years of famine come, what you've saved 7 years of plenty is going to carry you through. But not just you, it will be the nations of the world. And of course, we know how Joseph ends up saving his own family in the process. And Egypt fed many nations, and I'm sure through that they were able to also earn wealth in that season that also, kept them going. And so God gave Joseph a vision, and Pharaoh recognizes that. He says, well, who else is better to lead this project but you, Joseph, because you understand what's going to happen. And so Joseph was able to put things in place that allowed the 7 years of plenty not to be wasted, and when the 7 years of famine came, he was able to lead strongly. He had vision, and vision is that ability to see into the future, understand what God is up to, and you're able to lead people to that place that God has for them. And so vision becomes so critical. It comes from God. It is so critical that you and I are constantly in prayer and asking God, where are we going? What's this season about? What do you want me to accomplish? And let God open your eyes to see what He needs you to see. And it's okay. Don't be in a rush. Don't assume on God. Keep in step with God. And that's why it's important that you're in that place of prayer. You're in that place of hearing from God. You're in that place of listening to God, so that you're able to be in step with God. And so vision number one comes from God. I also think about Abraham. God calls him, and when God calls him in about Genesis 11 and Genesis 12, God then gives him a picture of a nation, that a multitude that would come from him, so numerous, the more than the stars. I mean, he gave him a vision of what he wanted to do with his life, and he said that whoever blesses you will be blessed, whoever curses you will be cursed, and that through him there would come a people, and through them a blessing to the world. And so God gives Abram, when He calls him, the first thing He gives him is vision. And so vision comes from God. He is the maker of our lives. He wants to order our steps so that we can fulfill that which He has put on our lives. And so vision comes from God, number one. But number two, the way you also download this vision from God is by sitting down and asking yourselves some good questions. And that's why we talk about the many tools, and I'm looking forward to hosting a guest who can then help us just break down some of those tools. How do you clarify vision that is in your heart after you've prayed and God has given you a future? How do you take it from that to paper and to write it down? It's important that you sit with people who can guide you, who can ask you the right sort of questions. What is the burden on your heart? Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? What is so critical to you that if you did not accomplish this, you wouldn't be able to fulfill that big picture that you see in your mind? So critical that you're asking yourself those questions, and then you're writing it down, because in Habakkuk, the Bible is so clear that he was to make the vision plain. He was to write it down on tablets so that whoever read it would run with it. And so it's important that you are writing this picture down. The process of writing will also include conversations with people on how to make it clearer, how to make it succinct, how to make it pointed, how to write it in a way that many who read it, yes, in your time, those who are serving on your team, but even those who come after you will be able to catch it and run with it and stay the true course and keep the true north, so that they are able to accomplish what that vision demands of them. So it's so critical that you are writing it down. Thirdly, you must make sure that you're sharing it. Share it. Tell people about it. Bring people in the room. Talk to them. Say, here's what I see. Here's where I want to go. And for those of you who are even leading now, and there is this big idea, this big picture, are you sharing vision enough? Because here's the thing, vision leaks. People need to be constantly reminded about what it is we're here for. What are we here to accomplish? And as a leader, you never get tired of repeating vision. You must ensure vision is at the forefront. It must be at the front of their mind. It must be at the back of their mind. It must be in their blood, must be in their heart, must be in their soul. Restate vision. Meet in the morning. Talk through vision. Have vision written down. Make sure it's on the walls. Make sure it's on people's desks. Make sure some people put it as a signature on their emails. Make sure vision is very apparent, and it needs to be physically seen so that it continues to get ingrained. Make sure when you start with meetings, you start with vision. You get people to recite vision. Every once in a while, bring discussions around vision. Say, hey, are we winning? Are we clear? Are we going where we want to go? Make sure you can measure it. Make sure you can track it. Make sure you have systems in place that are able to help people know we are going where we want to go. And so I want to make sure I bring a guest that's going to help us get what are some of those tools or simple ways for us to know that we are actually winning on the vision that God has placed in our hearts. Whether you just started a business, whether you're leading a team, leading an organization, make sure vision is front and center, because that is what keeps people energized. There'll be so much need. There'll be a lot of work to do. People are not energized by the business as usual work. People are energized by the big picture. Where are we going? What are we here to do? What's that big picture? And how is what I am doing connected to that big picture? So that's the other thing that has to happen, is that you need to help everyone on your team draw a line between what they do and where we are going. People don't like wasting time. People don't like a marking space. And so they want to know how is what I'm doing contributing to the big picture. And if that's clear for that individual, they will get energized. So it's so important because without vision, you're going to waste resources, you're going to waste people's time, and people won't be happy with that. They will leave. People can easily quit from a job because there is a disorientation and a lack of vision. So important that we are leading with vision. And vision, remember, comes from that burden. What is in your heart? What has God placed on your heart? What has God spoken to you about? What is it that you feel strong about, that you want to go about? And how are you equipping yourself to make sure that you can win on that big picture that God has placed in your life? Vision is absolutely important, because without it, there is no clarity, there is no unity. Instead, there is frustration, and people will not want to stay in that place. So I thought I'd just take a few moments and talk to you about vision. Vision is so critical. It is so critical. And guess what? It only strengthens the way you lead when you are clear when it comes to vision. And so just a few thoughts I wanted to drop by you to do. Do let me know in the comment section, what is standing out to you, what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, what your questions are. Again, I want to thank you so much for being here today. By the grace of God, traveled to do some work here in South Africa on behalf of Watoto Church, and that's why I'm coming out to you from my room up here. But I'm so thankful that you're here today. Again, would you like the video before we finish today? Every single one of you, would you like, whether you're watching today live, or whether you are watching this right after, or whether you are on our podcast on Spotify for podcasters, do help me share and subscribe to the content, and I know it will make a massive difference. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. As always, I love you and God bless you.